and welcome back to British English with me, Ali. In today's lesson, I'm going to be teaching you about some very British English ways to describe people. These descriptions are both about the personality and the appearance of a person, and some of them are negative, whilst other ones are more positive. So I will be describing word for word about the nuance of each of these words. Please do give this video a like and let's get started. The first word is something I think probably most people would appreciate being called, and this is a stunner. Now, this is usually for someone who is extremely attractive or good looking. For example, if we are talking about a very attractive woman, we can say, gosh, she's such a stunner. This is definitely a very complimentary and positive way to describe someone. The next word is slightly similar, and we can say that someone is a babe. Typically, babe is used to show a tenderness or a fondness for someone. Babe can also be used as a term of affection. So, hello babe. Maybe about 10 years ago, we'd say, oh, that girl, she's such a babe. In a similar way that we would say, she's such a stunner. You know, she's very beautiful or she's very attractive. But more recently, we can say, for example, your mum made a delicious meal last night. She's such a babe. So it's a way of showing a warmness or fondness for someone by describing them as a babe. The next word has two different meanings. This word is fit. Fit typically means athletic, toned, with good muscles and able to run long distances, for example. But in more recent years, we use fit in British English as a way of saying that someone is attractive. So, did you see that guy? He's so fit. Or Brad Pitt is so fit. So we use it to describe someone as being attractive. The next word we have is a softie. This might be someone who has a very soft heart, is very kind, and perhaps easily cries when they watch a film or has an emotional side to them. A good example of a softie is perhaps a man who appears very macho and powerful, but inside he's actually a softie. So whilst he might look quite intimidating, when he watches a film, he usually cries, and at this moment we might say, oh, he's a softie. Whilst softie is actually a very endearing and gentle term, we can also say that someone who cries a lot is a crybaby. This is not a positive way to refer to someone. This shows that someone doesn't really have so much control over their emotion, and it does have the inference that the person in question cries very easily over many different things. Another word for someone who is not able to manage their emotions is moody. So someone who is moody is someone who has tantrums or gets angry and their face is sort of like sullen, and maybe they don't say that they're upset, but you can tell from their face or their manner or the way that they hold their body. So moody in British English means having a bad mood. It doesn't mean gorgeous or luxurious as it does in Japan. So take care when you call something moody. In British English, another word for moody is grumpy. And grumpy, I really think, has the sound of someone who is in a bad mood, not enjoying their time. Grumpy, I think that's a very British English word to describe someone who's just not in a good mood. An easy way to use either grumpy or moody would be don't be so grumpy or don't be so moody. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the physique or the build of a person. This is about the way that their body appears, the shape or the size. And the first British English word to describe someone's physique is stocky. Stocky is the kind of person that is never going to fall over. So when you look at the body of a rugby player, for example, this physique is not fat, but it has this sort of very solid, strong and powerful image. Whilst stocky isn't particularly negative, I would take care with describing someone to their face in this way. This might be a way that you describe or you recognize someone's shape, but without saying it directly to their face. It could be offensive. Similarly, if someone is not fat, but not thin, perhaps they have a little bit of extra jelly going on, we could call this chubby. Chubby is usually quite negative because, similarly to Japan, in Britain we admire a slightly more lean or slim physique. But in a positive sense, we can say that a baby, a cute baby with chubby cheeks, that's a very cute and adorable thing. But more often than not, chubby is used to refer to someone who is not so slim and is going into the more larger shaped body. On the other side, someone who is very long and thin can be described as lanky. Maybe you can imagine a model who is extremely tall with very long, thin arms and legs, and you can say that they are lanky. And perhaps the body of a teenager who has just grown very, very quickly and is suddenly very tall with long limbs, who hasn't quite filled out yet. Again, this isn't a particularly positive way to talk about someone, so take care when you're using it. But it's a really useful way to imagine a long, thin body. Another way to describe a person's physique or build is scrawny. Scrawny has the connotation of being too thin and not at all shapely. This is a British English way of saying skinny or very, very thin, too thin. I generally would say that people in the UK don't appreciate being called skinny or fat or either side of the scale. I think when talking about someone's body, it's best to take care and perhaps not broach the subject yourself. If they mention something about their body shape, then you can listen, but I wouldn't mention any of these words about someone's physique to their face. Are you someone who, no matter how hard you try, you always manage to drop some grain of rice or some leaf or vegetable on the table whilst you eat? If this is so, we can say that perhaps you are a mucky pup. This is a very soft, playful way to refer to someone who, yes, perhaps spills something by mistake or knocks things over or, as I mentioned in the example, drops things on the table whilst they eat. It's not messy and it's not dirty, but it just is a playful way to refer to someone that is perhaps a little bit clumsy and makes small mistakes in this way. We can often refer to children as mucky pups, who perhaps they are very excited to eat their food, and after they've finished, there's some tomato sauce left on the side of their face, and you can say, "Oh, you mucky pup." Perhaps you have a friend who has entered into a new relationship. This friend doesn't have the freedom that he or she used to have. And this might be because of a controlling or dominating partner. In this sense, you can say that your friend is under the thumb. This means that they are under the control of their partner and they're not able to have that freedom that they used to be able to have. Perhaps your friend has stopped coming with you to gatherings or parties and instead spends time with his or her partner. We can say she or he is under the thumb. And the last word that I'm going to talk about today is someone who is a little bit odd, a little bit strange. So you can say they are an oddball. I think this is a very British English phrase to describe someone who is a little bit strange. An oddball. She's an oddball. Or I'm a bit of an oddball. Similarly, we can also say a weirdo. Again, these are not ways to describe someone. If they are standing right in front of you, you must be careful with this because it is quite offensive. But perhaps there's a strange person and you can say, oh, there's a weirdo outside. Or someone says something inappropriate and you can say they're a bit of an oddball. Thank you so much for listening to this lesson today. I do hope that you learned some interesting new words that you can use. Please do comment in the comment section below. Perhaps you could use one of these terms in your sentences. And until next time, bye-bye.